Hello, this is Truman with another great verse for today. It's Psalms 19, 1 through 3. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. I have the privilege to share with thousands of folks in Africa and the Middle East by Zoom and Skype and WhatsApp. I look at their faces and the crowds and the multitudes, and I realize that God has already spoken to them long before I met them. And I share with them that God first spoke to you when you were a little child. And then I relate, one night I'm laying on my back in the dark and I'm counting the stars. The stars are too many for me to count. And all of a sudden, I'm overwhelmed with this thought. The same God who made the stars made me and has a plan for my life. And then I share with them, at some point in some way, God spoke to you through creation. And Romans tells us the very first act to worship is for us to worship the God who created us. And then I hold up a simple illustration. I hold up a clock, and I'll say the clock's purpose is to tell time. Now, my eye has never seen the clockmaker, but I know the clockmaker exists. And how do I know the clockmaker exists? Why, the clock is the evidence of his existence. And I will say my eye is more complicated than a clock. And my eye is the very evidence that God made my eyes and my ears. And though my eye has not seen him, God made you and I. And so I talk to them about the logic of creation. And then I say, now what happens, however, if my clock is broken? Then I've got to go find the clockmaker to fix my clock. And soon after we believe in God, we discover that we are morally broken. We are sinners. Something's wrong. We look at our world filled with sickness and sorrow and death. Our world is broken. And then we say, we have to find God to fix us. And only God can fix us. Now, it's amazing how God is able to use this simplicity. We receive so many testimonies from people who were impacted by that simple testimony of the logic of creation. I want to read one here, and this comes from, I think this comes from Africa, from a mother with 2 children. And she says, when Pastor Truman said he does not know the clockmaker, but he believes there's a clockmaker, he also believes there's a God. And even though he hasn't seen God, he believes in God because of creation. And then she says, I began to see in the plants and many things around me. And then I believe there's a God. But before, when I was doing my own things, I don't believe there's a God. I believe that after death you go anywhere. But today I know there's a place that those who believe in Jesus, there's a place where they're going to go, become the children of God, just because of Jesus Christ. When Pastor Truman asked people to raise their hand, I was one of them because I need him to help me from my sin. I surrender my life to Jesus. I need him to fix me back. I love that. I want him to fix me back to God. I need to be a child of God. So I want to tell you, it's amazing that I tell folks that there's no language, there's no nation, there's no voice, that God has not spoken to us as children. And in that reflection, they all go back, and it's confirmed in their heart. Yes, as a child, I believed in God. But by Adam's sin, I became broken. And because of Jesus, the last Adam, he came to fix me, to save me, to give me a new heart. Oh, child of God, isn't this wonderful? To know that there's not a person you meet that doesn't really know that God made them and doesn't really know that they're broken and only God can fix them. Thank you. And again, another great verse for today.